The story of the Karluks is a remarkable journey through the heart of Central Asia, a tale of shifting allegiances, cultural transformation, and the forging of a new religious and political identity. From the rugged peaks of the Altai Mountains to the bustling crossroads of the Silk Road, the Karluks played a pivotal role in shaping the destiny of the region and the broader Islamic world. To understand the significance of the Karluks, it is essential to begin with their origins. The Karluks were a Turkic tribal confederation, their roots tracing back to the ancient nomadic traditions of the Eurasian steppe. Ethnically Turkic, they spoke a dialect that would become the ancestor of modern Uyghur and Uzbek languages, marking them as the progenitors of major Central Asian peoples. Initially, their homeland was nestled in the Altai Mountains and the Semirekiye region, an area that today spans southeastern Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. This strategic location placed them at the intersection of powerful empires and vibrant trade routes, setting the stage for their influence in regional affairs. The earliest records of the Karluks appear in Chinese chronicles, where they are noted as vassals of the Göktürk Turks, the great Turkic Khaganate that dominated much of Central Asia in the 6th and 7th centuries. As part of the Western Turkic tribes, the Karluks were intertwined with the fortunes of the Göktürk Turks, sharing in their rise and absorbing the consequences of their decline. After the fall of the Göktürk Khaganate, the Karluks seized the opportunity to assert their independence, navigating the complex political landscape that emerged in the power vacuum. It was in this period of upheaval that the Karluks would make their first major mark on history. The year was 751 CE, and the stage was set for the Battle of Talas, a clash that would reverberate across continents. On one side stood the mighty Tang dynasty of China, seeking to extend its influence westward. Opposing them was the Abbasid Caliphate, the burgeoning Islamic power of the Middle East. The Karluks, initially aligned with the Chinese, made a momentous decision in the heat of battle. They defected to the Abbasids, tipping the scales and ensuring a Muslim victory. The consequences of this decision were profound. The defeat of the Tang forces marked the end of Chinese dominance in Central Asia, opening the region to new cultural and religious influences. With the door now open, Islam began its steady advance along the Silk Road, carried by merchants, missionaries, and the shifting allegiances of local tribes. The Karluks, strategically positioned at the crossroads of trade and empire, found themselves increasingly drawn to the faith of their new allies. Yet the conversion of the Karluks to Islam was not an overnight transformation. It was a gradual process, shaped by centuries of trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The great markets of Bukhara, Samarkand, and Kashgar buzzed with the languages of merchants from across the world. Here, Karluk traders encountered the teachings of Islam, the call to prayer mingling with the sound of haggling in the bazaars. Through these interactions, Islam began to take root among the Karluk elite, slowly filtering down to the broader population. The true watershed moment, however, came with the rise of the Karakhanid Khanate. Established in the mid-9th century, the Karakhanid Khanate was the first major Muslim Turkic state in Central Asia, and its core was composed of Karluk tribes. It was under the rule of Satuq Bughra Khan, a visionary leader and a devout Muslim, that the formal conversion of the dynasty and its people took place. Satuq Bughra Khan's embrace of Islam was not merely a personal choice, it was a turning point for the entire region. His commitment to the new faith set an example for other Turkic dynasties, from the mighty Seljuks to the ambitious Ghaznavids, who would follow in his footsteps. The impact of the Karluks and the Karakhanid Khanate on the Islamization of Central Asia cannot be overstated. Their adoption of Islam laid the foundation for the faith to become the dominant religious and cultural force in the region. Mosques and madrasas began to dot the landscape, and scholars emerged who would contribute to the rich tapestry of Islamic civilization. The Karluks were instrumental in developing Islamic Turkic literature, blending their own traditions with the teachings of the Quran and the Hadith. Among the most celebrated works from this era is the Kutad-gu Bilig, written by Yusuf Khas Hajib, a masterful treatise on ethics, governance, and society that remains a cornerstone of Turkic literature. As the Karakhanid Khanate flourished, so too did the cities under its rule. Kashgar, Balasagun, and Bukhara became centers of learning and culture, where scholars debated theology, scientists studied the stars, and poets composed verses in the new, vibrant Turkic Islamic tradition. The Karluks did not merely adopt Islam, they helped to shape it, infusing it with their own customs and values, and ensuring that it would endure as a living, dynamic faith. The legacy of the Karluks endures to this day. Their descendants, the Uyghurs and Uzbeks, continue to speak languages descended from the Karluk branch of Turkic, and their cultural identity is inextricably linked to the Islamic heritage the Karluks helped to establish. The early Islamic cultural landscape of Central Asia, with its unique fusion of Turkic and Muslim traditions, owes much to the vision and determination of the Karluk Confederation. Yet the story of the Karluks is not simply one of military triumphs and religious conversions. It is also a story of adaptation and resilience. Surrounded by powerful neighbors and shifting political tides, the Karluks navigated the challenges of empire building, internal strife, and external threats. They formed alliances, absorbed new ideas, and reinvented themselves as the circumstances demanded. In doing so, they laid the groundwork for a flourishing civilization at the crossroads of East and West. The fall of the Karakhanid Khanate in the early 13th century, swept away by the Mongol invasions, marked the end of an era. Yet, even as their political power waned, the cultural and religious legacy of the Karluks lived on. The institutions they established, the literature they produced, and the faith they embraced continued to shape the lives of countless generations. Their influence can be seen in the architecture of Central Asian cities, in the rhythms of daily prayer, and in the enduring spirit of the peoples who call the region home. Today, the story of the Karluks stands as a testament to the power of cultural exchange and the enduring human quest for meaning and identity. Their journey from the steppes of the Altai to the courts of Islamic dynasties is a reminder that history is often shaped by those who stand at the crossroads, those who are willing to embrace change, to forge new paths, and to leave a legacy that transcends borders and centuries. In the grand tapestry of Central Asian history, the Karluks are a vital thread, their story interwoven with those of empires and faiths, merchants and scholars, warriors and poets. They remind us that the history of a people is not written in isolation, but in the myriad connections that bind them to the world around them. Through their choices and their achievements, the Karluks helped to shape not only the destiny of Central Asia, but also the broader course of Islamic civilization. As we reflect on their legacy, we see the enduring marks of their influence, in the languages spoken, in the traditions cherished, and in the vibrant, multifaceted identity of Central Asia today. The Karluks, once a confederation of tribes on the distant steppe, became architects of a new world, bridging the gap between past and future, and lighting the path for generations to come.